Yeah.
Damn, dude, that joint. That was a big joint.
It was a good one.
That was a good one. Got pretty smoky in here.
It's still fading around over there.
It's still kind of just chilling. So I guess like with weed for me, the science of it is so cool, and the way that the ways that you consume it change things. How would you compare edibles to smoking it or vaporizing it?
Okay, edibles. So edibles, you obviously eating it and it's dissolving in your fat. So it really depends on how the edibles are made. Like edibles could be a tincture even, or even a drink. They have syrups and stuff like that that are considered edibles, you know. Mm-hmm. So when you eat anything or ingest anything, drinks wise, definitely activate a lot quicker because it's a liquid. So you can absorb water and liquids and juices and shit a lot quicker, and then you start peeing, you know. So It definitely goes through your body a lot quicker than a food takes to digest. So edibles are definitely really cool, especially if you're like going on a flight. You want to take like a 50 milligram edible and knock out, you know, kind of just wake up wherever the fuck you're at and be like, whoa, that's awesome. Or if you really want to chill out, like I took an edible before a tattoo one time, and it was really nice because I didn't feel it for like 3/4 of the way, and then it wore off, and I was like, holy shit, I wish I had another one of those.
Yeah.
But it goes differently. So like if you have a high tolerance, it's definitely going to take a little bit more edibles to kind of get you high. So if you're like a heavy smoker, sometimes you'll need the actual 100 milligram mark versus like the 10 milligram mark, which is like the beginners.
Mm-hmm. 10 milligrams is like an average edible.
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
That you'll find.
And even like starting off, 10 milligrams can be high for some people. Like I've working at the dispensary, you know, there were a lot of times where we had to educate people so intensely, being like, listen, we don't want you to end up in the hospital. We want you to have a good time medicating. We want you to come back and be like, yo, I had a great time. Like, this is what I did. Like, even sitting on the couch. If you tell us you had a great time sitting on the couch, success. Mm-hmm. You know, the last thing we want to hear is you went to the hospital and you thought you were having a heart attack or some shit like that. So edibles are definitely tough with beginners, starting off like less than 10 milligrams and then build up, you know, throughout the week. Don't start off and be like, oh, well, 10 milligrams didn't work, 20, 30, 40, and then, you know, you're like, well, then I fell asleep. Well, then it's because you took too many. Mm-hmm. So you have to definitely kind of have just like a log build up, see how you feel, you know, see your emotions, see, you know, your energy levels too. Definitely change up different edibles, the kinds you eat, gummies, chocolates, you know, all that shit can definitely give you a different high depending on how you eat it.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, what's the absorption rate for gummies versus, like, canna butter-based things?
So, canna butter-based, I think, would be, like, an hour, just because it is really fatty. So, you know, the breakdown in your body is going to be a little bit longer. Gummies are usually, you know, like 30 minutes just because it is usually glycerin or gelatin, which is pretty dissolvable. You know, you could hold them in your hand and they'll start breaking down on you. So chocolates, I would say about 30, 45 minutes also. And everybody is different. So, you know, if you're a bigger person, you know, probably going to take a little bit longer for your body to start breaking it down. If you're a smaller person who's pretty active gym-wise, or, you know, if you take an edible and go to the gym and you start working out, you're going to feel it within maybe like 15 minutes because you're going to start sweating and it's going to start breaking down faster. So it really just depends on everybody and how much you eat, what you eat. Making edibles is kind of a funny thing just because, you know, unless you're really going through the process of taking a starting plant, putting it through, you know, a process and keep your calculations correct, where you're taking a 24% THC and then you're breaking it down with butter and you're using an ounce and then you're using it for 12 hours in this Seuss maker, you know. So breaking that down is the only way you're going to get efficient on your own homemade edibles and shit like that. But as far as dispensary shit, those things are all calculated in dosages of like distillates and shit like that in cannabis, in concentrates. So it's like when they're making gummies in cultivation centers, they're usually using concentrates just because it's easier to figure out the dosage versus using can of butter, because can of butter could evaporate in this corner and then be really heavy condensed in that corner.
Damn, that just blew my mind.
Yeah.
Bro.